All right, so I have a little bit of time to go over some things. And I think I left off the last hangout that I was on right about here. I'm working on a different one now. But yeah, I've been working on my little things. So this does help me to, keep my mind occupied while I do, tedious physical things. So I really kind of appreciate the Google Hangout format for that. So I don't have to fiddle with the camera. You just turn the thing on and go for broke. Now, where I left off, I was explaining to a couple of guys who suggested that, Might, I call him Might. You guys call him Monkey. I call him Might. And I think he looks like a warthog. I do not think that he looks like a monkey at all. I think that the guy who calls him a monkey looks more like a monkey than he does. But, that's something else. It's neither here nor there. That's opinion. I know that I'm dealing with a bunch of little high school boys that are going to go, ha, 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 you said it, and just start like mimicking everything that everybody says. So the other thing that I wanted to say about Might is that, yeah, he's not the worst. Let's see. There was Sonic the Ghetto Hawk, otherwise known as William Smith. He suggested that I think the worst in that sector is, Might Mills, because he does this obsessive shit, or, Styles chimed in because he's on that obsessive shit. Okay. And I say, and I maintain, no, the worst of the sector is Turtleface. Now, there's some disagreement as to whether or not Turtleface is a part of this sector, because I think that because, Styles drank some of that Kool-Aid, he falls for the bullshit. So he actually believes Turtleface when he says, things that are not true. But for people who know a little bit better, because they are not wishing that what the guy said was true, it's quite obvious that, he's full of it, that he makes things up. So he purchases those numbers that people believe in. I mean, to the tune of thousands, just an inconceivable amount of people, thousands and thousands of people that nobody ever sees. When he traveled to the second most populous city in the United States, to my tiny ass neighborhood, to post pictures and shit near me. And still nobody showed up. Still, I never showed up. I've never called his show. And yes, moving on to that. So then we got into a little argument over semantics, okay? I called out the use of this colloquialism. And it's a pet peeve of mine, this your boy shit, Grown men calling themselves boys and then wondering why people treat them like they are half raised is just one of the silliest things I've come across in this sector, right? And this is not that I've never heard anybody on the recording say, it's your boy, or on the radio go, it's your boy, or it's your girl, T Fizzle, right? I understand the colloquialism. I also understand that I was speaking to a person who chooses his words ever so carefully. And he was already going into sarcasm mode. He just is in constant sarcasm mode. He's in constant sarcasm mode. He prefaces his explanations, or paragraphs or whatever, with the fact that, now I know I rubbed some people the wrong way, proceeds to rub people the wrong way. And when people go, well, he already prefaced this with he rubs people the wrong way, so I'm not going to get excited about it. He continues to try and rub harder, I'm not impressed by that. So I took off, but I am going to make my point clear. The people within this sector that he is supposedly not a part of, not only do they not stop talking about him all the time, but he doesn't stop talking about them. His bread and butter is based on talking about people within this sector that he's not a part of. This sector where he trolls, this sector where he manipulates, The reason why people continue to talk about him is because he begs them to. He goes, hey, black people, hey, black people, hey, black people, hey, black people, hey, black people. What are you talking about me for? That's his thing. So these people are aware of him and he's aware of them. And there are no illusions there except for people who, have their, asses on their shoulders, man. What else can I say? I mean, I know that you have maternal issues like he does. So you can agree with him going all ape shit, screaming about how black mothers ain't shit, and black women ain't shit, and these hoes and those hoes. And, I understand because that's what you used to being around, because that's the company you keep. But I know lots of black women and lots of black men who do not fit these descriptions, okay? And I choose to stay away from these people most of the time. And, when I came across the turtle face video, I made a comment and he went absolutely apeshit, kind of like you did the other night. The difference between you guys, though, is that you're probably not going to like send me a whole bunch of crazy mean messages, stalk down my pages, try to call CPS on my family, get in a plane or a car and come over to my neighborhood and take creepy pictures. You're not going to do all that, are you? Over some damn disagreement? Okay. Well, that's what that guy does, over some damn disagreement, a difference of opinion. I've never said that anybody has to like black women. Like, I don't care who doesn't like black women. It's not my responsibility to run around counting who has black women love, It's just never been an issue for me to attract a black man, a white man, a brown man, or a yellow man, or a red man. So I'm really not running around worried about who isn't, attracted to me, especially considering the fact that I've been married for, the past decade plus. So I'm really not on the market. You know what I'm saying? Not on the market. So there's no need for me to worry about my desirability. Compliments are cool. And of course, like I'll be, an old lady one day getting a compliment and probably feeling pretty good about it, right? But compliments can also be guys that say things to know you. And I can see through that kind of thing too. I don't have an ego that's so fragile that it's easily bruised by insults or that it's easily boosted by compliments either. I think I pointed out before, I'm more trustful of the vibe that people put out, and I'm more trustful of the actions that they display than the words that they say. Because people can say words in order to distract from their actions. Sleight of hand, it's how musicians, it's how musicians work, it's how magicians work. They sort of razzle dazzle you by going, look over here, while they're digging in here, So you can say all kinds of stuff like, I never did that, but if I saw you do it, then I'm going to believe you did it based on the fact that I saw you do it. I'm not going to believe you based on the fact that you're saying that you're innocent of something that I saw you do, So I've seen Turtle go after person after person. This isn't about just me and my daughter and my family. We're fine. Like, nobody in this household is crying over no damn turtle face and what the fuck he has to say about us. We're not like, well, maybe we are everything he says. Do you think that we should go to counseling? We're bad people, aren't we? Because turtle, are you fucking kidding me? Some mincy sucking, screaming ass pervert who's squatting from coast to coast, who barely sees his kid wants to pick on other people's parenting. I'm not really moved. What bothered me was the censorship of my channel and other people's channels. People who ran away based on being harassed by him, or people who were shut down based on being assaulted by his fake accounts. Some of those people are people who have a problem with me now because I don't like them turning around and acting like him in order to combat him. That's not the way to do it. That's what I saw happening. For Sirloin to turn around and start talking about screwing a dude's mama, for Minty and Sirloin, for Minty to follow Sirloin's lead because he ain't got an original thought in his head, and start talking about screwing his girl, and that was beside the point to me. That was all that pecker contest, stupid, sword fighting, circle jerking, idiot, gay shit, that you guys are on, like trying to prove your heterosexuality to each other so nobody sees, that like whatever happened when you were in jail. I'm not about to get my blood pressure all worked up about this stuff. You guys really do have the wrong idea if you think that, the fact that you see me speak about this means that it's having some sort of negative impact on my person or my psyche. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. If I were walking past a giant pile of excrement on the street, I would get away from it. I would avoid it. I wouldn't want to try to get close to it or pick it up or, stick a flag in it and claim it. Some of y'all don't know how to avoid waste. Some of you guys would very well put your mouth on a big pile of shit. Some of you have, right? Ugh, it's the interwebs. So there's all kinds of people involved here. So don't blame me because I recognize people for who they are. I do. I simply do. And I do not just go, oh my gosh, my judgment is so golden. That's how I know. I'm well researched. It's part of how I have earned my living. Okay. Y'all have done whatever you've done to earn your money. You do whatever you do to earn your money. Okay. Well, one of the things that I did very well was research and catalog information, and have to pull up information at will when people needed it in order to complete one task or another, regardless of the information, detached from the information. The information had nothing to do with me. It had nothing to do with the people. It's a matter of moving the information from one place to another in order to accomplish a goal, paperwork. And so I have no problem keeping track of, dates and events. That's something that my mother recommended in my youth. And I recommend this to any young people starting out on a job, they start messing with you. Keep a calendar and just make a note on your calendar. It's an easy way to keep track of things without having to think about it. Once you put it on the calendar, and once that calendar is gone, you keep a drawer with your calendars. So you can go back years and go, now they said that I said this on such and such time or such and such date. Let me go back and check. Trust me, So, yeah, you guys who are like ill-researched and, kind of lazy, you have trouble accepting and dealing with the fact that, I say all of these things all bold and crazy style in your faces, and I really don't care about your delusions when it comes to what I know to be true because I saw it. Not because I wished it were true, but because I saw it. I mean, gosh, if I could write a story or make up, a whole bunch of false shit about dude, I could get really creative. He's an awful, deplorable person. It's very easy to say, oh, yeah, he rapes dogs, But nah, I'm not going to do like him and sit up and, down a bottle and talk about, his child in scenarios with, back page prostitution? Isn't that what he said about mine? Yeah, I'm not about to do all that. And I'm not about to think that anybody who says such a thing about your child is an okay person with me. Not any of you. I'm not okay with Minty for talking about Tamitha's child the way he did. I'm not okay with Sirloin for talking about other people's children the way he does. I'm not okay with Might talking about people's children the way he does. I'm not okay with Jemima talking about people's children. I'm not okay with Jamari forevermore, even though he apologized because he talked about my child. I'm not okay with him, okay? And more power to him. Nothing against him, but I'm not okay with him. We're not hanging out. We're not friends, and we ain't talking. You get it? So that's my policy when it comes to anybody's child. It was my policy before I had a child, okay? Like, if I said anything about something that I don't like that doesn't have to do with families and children, perhaps, you wouldn't focus so much on the fact that I said something against the Mike Mills child comments. The reason why I spoke about those comments specifically was because those were comments that William, the person who you agreed with, who brought up the fact that he thought Mike Mills was the worst, quote unquote, he had been harping on that material. Because remember, you guys didn't know each other? Okay, well, I know your material and I know his material because it's not that hard to just watch you guys' videos. So, yeah, I'm aware of the fact that William has been recently expressing his disdain for Might's choice to speak that way about children. So that is a point of contention for him as well, not just me. Now, I know good and well that there is just, something about the way I won't back down that intimidates people who are used to being able to bully people with their size or their volume. I got it. I get that. I've had plenty of lessons in dealing with people who are overbearing, and it's not personal, in-house. Like I had great interactions with my parents. I just live on planet Earth where there are other people besides my parents to interact with, So I don't expect everyone to be like my mommy and daddy and think that everything that I say is perfect and wonderful and worth listening to. There's no sense of entitlement here. There's no the world owes me something. There's no open the door for me. I'm a girl. None of that here. I do not expect anyone to, have any sort of special place in their heart for my every opinion and observation when it comes to anything at all. Like I was saying before, I'm sharing my feelings, not telling you what yours are. I'm telling you these are my feelings. And yeah, the tricky part is I can have feelings about your feelings. I can have feelings about what you have expressed versus what you have done. I can have, any opinion about anything. I can think that this is lovely, or I can think, it's some tchotchke, I don't really want it. This is actually, I picked it up, my friend was having a yard sale, and I think she just gave it to me. They were just trying to really get rid of stuff. So I keep my tiny safety pins in it for my teas. So, all right. I get fabric in my eye. Like, I know I'm using fabric to get the fabric out of my eye. Okay, so anyway. Yeah, a little DNA. That one's special. Nah, I'll cut that part out. I will end up cutting that part out. That part is going to be cut. So, now, here's one of the things that, I found to be really ridiculous. I'm going to reiterate this, because boobies, people can't hear. I find it really ridiculous, for anyone, especially someone who's been, so very well aware of all of these proceedings for so long, for anyone to suggest that when people go, this sector, for people to suggest that, this person who comes out of the mouths of everyone in this sector, this person who mentions everyone in this sector, is not somehow a part of this sector or is above this sector based on farts. Farts in the wind, invisible breezes, invisible folk. I mean, sure, there may be 10, 100, 300, 3,000, 10,000, but they're invisible. They're not there, They don't exist until they exist. Now you're here, your opinion's viable, you're special. You're right about things too. Yeah, going through that you're right thing. That was just, oh God. I so don't need to write. I just need to be clear. I need to be absolutely clear. And yeah, that was another thing too. There was a suggestion of, now if you're going to say this, be clear, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you be clear. You're telling me be clear, but you're the person using colloquialisms. And that particular colloquialism I am sensitive about. I'll point it out. I'll point it out anytime it strikes me in a manner that is, I don't know, I guess it just hit a sour chord, right? I'm not going to tailor my speech for someone else who is never going to be satisfied no matter how you tailor your speech, you know what I mean? Because there are some people going to be just dissatisfied no matter what you say if you disagree with them. So for me to point out, yeah, that's, yeah, boy. I meant that sincerely. I know you are using a colloquialism. I know it's a regional affect. I didn't grow up underneath a rock in the suburbs. All right. However, I think that for someone who's older than me, for someone who is my age, some of the colloquialisms sound ridiculous and they're indicative. And to tell you the truth, in all honesty, if you are absent-minded enough to take this person running a party line with a camera on seriously enough to call it a show and say you are a participant in a show, where this person disrespects you left and right, If you're gullible enough to believe, that that's a show and all that, then yeah, you might be a little bit behind. You might be, immature enough to maybe use some languaging that, I don't know, is irritating because it needs to be abandoned. I mean, everybody doesn't have to accept the fact that you talk like you're 12, you know? Now, 12-year-olds that don't even talk like that, in colloquialisms and isms. I just don't find it charming or appealing. And for a person who is so used to having to preface what they say with, well, I rub people the wrong way, when you know that, why is it that you want to go from 0 to 100 and get yourself, hospitalized about your blood pressure over, I don't know, something that you could very well express without going all the way there? You take it as a personal attack, the fact that your speech is being criticized, and then to turn around in a conversation and be so hypercritical. I can't do that. Personally, it's not my choice. I can't decide to I don't know, get in a conversation where, yeah, I am saying, your words are ill chosen without having someone tell me, I don't appreciate the words that you've chosen to say. Which is why, I iterated. Look, I hear you. You don't like what I said. I understand why you don't like what I said. And I understand that you seem to think that what I said is based on some unsavory thing about my character, that I'm trying to prove something, I'm trying to be right. And even me saying this right now is annoying. Even me realizing or being, self-aware is, somehow me trying to be right. Okay, what I see it all. Got it. But let's get to your point, though. Let's deal with the facts on the table. You're trying to tell me that Turtleface is not part of a sector where everybody talks about him all the time, every fucking week, where he talks about those people all the time, every fucking week. Every month, it's in the new person in this quote-unquote sector that he's not a part of. And it's because you, in your naivete, in your willingness to believe in bullshit, you believe that he is what he claims to be instead of believing that he is exactly who he is, as indicated by referring to his party line with a camera on as a goddamn show. It's not a show. It's ugh. Now, you touched on it when you were saying about low aptitude. You said that low aptitude is intimidated by people who are better articulated. Okay? I found it to be funny that you said that because it seemed like a, pot kettle situation right there. Because I think that that's your issue with me. You're so used to trying to impress people that, when I show up, I got to be on some pontificate shit, trying to put your little blah, 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 I got to be that. Yeah, the last thing I have trouble doing is, expressing myself, written, spoken, musically, whatever. Don't have any trouble doing it. It's not my problem. But for a lot of people here, it is an issue. So I definitely agree that among this quote-unquote sector, there are people who have trouble communicating and they're intimidated by people whose communication skills are better than theirs. I get that. It's unfortunate because, there's no way you're going to get any better with your communication unless you go, hey, I need help with my communication, and accept correction, like when you're in school, you turn in your work, it gets corrected. If you've made a mistake on your work, that work is highlighted so that you're aware of it, so that you learn from that mistake you made, so that you don't make that mistake the next time, so that it eventually sinks in. That's how we learn. Some people, I guess, there are some people who learn by watching someone do something. Some people learn by mimicking people doing things, and some people learn by, being told, being instructed. Some people a combination of all three. But all of us can learn, prosper, and grow and contribute our gifts. So I'm enamored of the gifts that other people have. I'm really glad if other people are aware of their gifts and cultivating their gifts, okay? I'm also aware that, with our gifts and with our art, we're not always going to appeal to everyone. The art that I make appeals to my audience. It does not appeal to every audience. Likewise with other people's work. I am not required to be impressed by that which impresses most. As a matter of fact, I'm generally not that lady. Not your mainstream radio listener, not your mainstream movie watcher. I don't go see movies as soon as they come out. I will go and see things that involve people that I know in order to just support their work and show them. I don't necessarily go and see something just because stuff comes out. I'm on the other side of it. There's always going to be something coming out. Yeah. And I'm not mad at the average consumer because that's, all a part of participating. Without these consumers, my friends don't fucking work. So I'm okay with all of that. I'm okay with, people just not speaking my language, just as long as you understand that I respect your right to express yourself, and I am going to have that same respect given. I'm going to have it, yeah, I'll demand it. Walk up in the room, demand, and attract respect. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. That's it. That's why, I can sit there and not raise my voice and quietly people are going apeshit and yelling and screaming as if, somebody stabbed your grandma in front of them. Because, yeah, communication, not an issue. I got you. You're also not going to scream over me with your crazy and, have me lose track. That's another thing that I find that people who are, gruff, loud, aggressive do. It's a part of control issue thing. If I make enough noise, then all attention is on me and I'm running the situation, I find that to be a cheap trick. I know that trick, and theater and performance, I always find that to be the cheapest trick. The easy laugh does not sell me usually. I don't get sold on the easy laugh. The easy clown, the buffoon, it's part of why you guys all, think the goddamn turtle's funny, because he gets loud and he starts, chuck a bucket, you know what I mean? Now, there's nothing wrong with energy, A lot of the people that I work with are dancers, I understand energy. And it's live, slice, razzle dazzle, everybody wake up. Come on, I got it. It's all about appropriating that energy appropriately, when it's oh gosh, enter this gag in 5, 4, 3, 2, and there you go. And that's going to be funny people who didn't see it coming. But of course I saw it coming because I've seen this gag 25 times today, So yeah, I'm not easily amused by everybody, just being silly for silly's sake. I'm not a coddler either. I think that kind of becomes difficult over time with the people who don't know me well. There are hundreds of people who know me well, who appreciate and understand and respect the fact that I will not fucking coddle your feelings. And I don't want you to do that with me either. I really don't expect it. I've had many situations where, a friend has called me going, I have this issue and I need you to speak for me because I can't say the thing and I need this spoken, I need this dealt with. I need to handle this because somebody's trying to give me the runaround and I don't quite have the words. So please help me say the freaking words. And it's cool. I doing what I'm supposed to do, being in my element. Got no problem with that. If I am to serve in ways that are comfortable for me, that are difficult for others, then there's some joy in that for all involved, right? Because other people, of course, have those skills that I don't have, and have those abilities that I don't have, and can also, lend in their manner to my progress, and as I lend to theirs, it's all that symbiosis, all that beautiful mutual shit that makes us born here amongst each other in all these separate bodies. Not all one big blob, so we don't all think the same. We're not all choosing the same. We're not all supposed to be the same. We are not required to all fucking like each other. No. But I dare say that, the constant struggle, that is the right struggle, is that calls men and women to protect and provide for their children and for the children of people that they love and care about. That's the nobility there. People can do all kinds of fucked up nasty shit and wrap it in that cause, but nah, hating someone else is not going to help your children unless that person, moved to violate or hurt your children. Then hurting them can be very good for your children because you can stop them from hurting other people's children. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. I give the benefit of the doubt in a situation where I probably shouldn't as much. I'm dealing with some very hopeless, very upset, very determined to be angry constantly people. And for me, I feel like, anger is useful. Anger is necessary. Anger is an appropriate response to many situations. But it needs to be useful. Like, it needs to be, I don't know, just as useful as happiness. Like, I'm not going to sit around and twiddle my thumbs with my happy. I'm going to share it. I'm going to share that vibe. It's probably like what reggae music is about, right? It's that messenger music, roots music, moves the people. It moves the news through the people. It moves the vibes through people. It assists you in getting through this life, getting through this day. Other people have other practices that help them get through the day. And then, of course, like the dark side is choosing shit that's really, not good for you to help you get through the day, right? So, everybody's challenged. And, I'm not blind to the fact that there are certain people who are going to face different challenges than other people based on the climate that they're in, based on the category that they're placed in, or given by the society that was formed before they took their first breath on this earth. All that, not tripping on anybody's response or recognition of these realities that affect us one and all. But here's what I'm not going to do, okay? Here's what I'm not going to do, okay? 39-year-old, just ugly, wrinkly, old, bald-headed, ugly bitch, unwanted and just not doing anything good for any corner is concerned. Okay. Boobies, but ugly bald. Okay, got it. Boobies, ugly bald. Okay. What I'm not going to do for any of you, who insist on running over to me to tell me how much nobody pays any attention to me. One thing I'm not going to do, is satisfy your delusion by, I don't know, counting you as anything other than like a stench from the breeze, okay? Just like, remark at shit. What you're doing for me, and I appreciate this, is that you're letting me know that what I have been doing is effective. It is affecting you, and it is therefore effective, okay? Because the more you come over and whine, the more I know that there is something for you to whine about. Because if I did nothing, if I laid down, took the abuse like so many of you would do, or if I bitched and moaned only for a little while, but then I turned around and succumbed, if I couldn't beat him, so I decided to join him, if I did all of that, then you'd have no problem with me, you know. Well, it's like some old Bible adage, right? I know fool likes to bring up the Bible a lot. Ain't it that, the devil ain't gonna mess with you if ain't nothing mess with, right? If you ain't doing nothing, if you ain't doing the Lord's work, then the devil ain't gonna mess with you because he ain't got to worry about you. So you guys are worried about this ugly old bitch, and you should be. You should be. But not for the reasons that you think, The lady that you accuse of stalking did not have to leave her state in order to go hover around the dude's house. So, yeah, you don't have to worry about me, sending anybody to whoop up on the dude. Somebody's, thinking about it, but I'm not the one. So, yeah, I'm not that type of fighter. I would fight with nice, clean sheets of white paper with big black letters on them. I'd fight him with paper cuts. If I were to choose to engage in any sort of battle at all. Because remember, this is the bitch you don't call. Don't call, don't care, not interested, will not validate that shit or call it for anything other than it is. Horse shit. So let's make some fertilizer, shall we, people? Can we make some fertilizer? Can we fertilize the ground, cause something positive to grow out of all of this horse pie? Because it really is, an exorbitant amount of bullshit that you guys have been eating and baking and dealing with. You just take it. You listen to this person scream lies at you, troll the ever-loving bitch, and then, deny it. Attack you, treat your channels like shit. And I think, the other thing, too, a lot of the dudes who end up, doing the flip-floppery thing. I hate him, love him, I hate him, I love him, I hate him, why bothering him? Shut up, black bitch. Those guys, part of what he'll do is he'll make the appeal. Hey, I want to make a truce, And he'll do that crazy thing, which is, tell people the stuff that they want to hear kind of thing and satisfy that ego in order to get something from that person, which is, that blind loyalty, or at least, that low. I mean, because come on, let's face it. This hardcore motherfucking troll has gone out of his way to try and silence every single person. You see the little child that he's calling or lip smacking, this, that, or whatever. This baby has a small channel, very, very few views on it. He's got a realistic amount of fucking traffic, for any average vlogger. You really got get this much traffic. All of this unnatural traffic that swirls around this little pit. There are reasons for it, and it has nothing to do with actual people. But yeah, he will take every critic and try and discredit them, beat them up, and then tell them, okay, well, I'm sorry. Hey, I apologize. I said I was sorry. Well, fuck you. What's wrong with you? Or see, yeah, I apologize. Now, I said I was sorry, right? Yeah, that's right, bitch. Now you sorry too, aren't you, bitch? Goddamn right, motherfucker. He really tries to always have that upper hand, right? Like he's done with Minty. He calls Minty retarded looking all the time, and he is. Minty, mongoloid Minty. And I was the first person to point out the mongoloid look in his eyes. It's so funny how many of my jokes y'all steal. You guys are terrible. Minty's taking so many of my descriptions. I said that Quasi sounded like he was gargling shit, so he started calling this to shit. I started calling English Fred latex fetish, and then Low Aptitude started calling him latex fetish. I mean, I made some joke about tumbleweeds in the middle of the night in the JT Riley group. Turtleface snatched that shit so quick and was all up in his own comment section, high-fiving himself for snatching my shit. Flagged my video too. Just retarded. Retarded. So much retard that it just cannot be helped. I said this. You know, you guys are slow and you cannot be helped. You're slow on the uptake and you cannot be helped. And I can't feel sorry for you when you're this grown. You know, maybe if you were the 12 that you act like, I could feel bad for you. Because you seem to want somebody to feel bad for you. Like you guys want sympathy, you know. I don't know, it's weird. Like you go out of your way to tell somebody that their opinion doesn't matter in the middle of, you know, ranting about what their opinion is. Can't touch that. That is dumb. Come on. We are human beings here. We do have feelings. You know, we do care. So many feels. You know, we are motivated by so many feels, aren't we? We're motivated by our feelings about our environment. We're motivated by our desires in relation to our environment. Each one of us, you know, motivated every day to do something that involves the deepest desire of our heart. Now, during the hangout, Real Love had said something about, you know, the schedule of some of these creatures. You know, they like fall asleep on one program, wake up on another program, you know, shower with one thing on, jack off with another thing on, you know, eat breakfast with another thing on, and then they spend all day on YouTube talking about people, and then they spend all night on the phone talking to the same people, and then they, you know, fall asleep next to the computer, I can't. There are too many other subjects that I have, you know, filed away next to, you know, the one little sliver folders, y'all. It's just like, is y'all? Okay. Is you guys? Right? And then like, yeah, the length of the scroll, you know, the other things. Like you guys are the rim on the top of the scroll. Okay. That's how much energy it takes compared to everything else I do to keep track of you or pay attention to you or respond to your, you know, occasional like troll comments and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's kind of, I don't know. It's expected, you know, I know what's coming. It makes sense, given the landscape. Like the very, you know, I saw the pattern from the beginning, you know, within days, I had figured out what Turtleface's primary motivation and angle is. Whereas there have been people who have been dealing with him for years who hadn't. And there are people who have been aware of him for a little while who, you know, and I'll say, well, I guess at that point, it'd been maybe a year or two, where people had been aware of him and, you know, were very well experienced in his bullshittery and were having their own issues with him. But, pardon me, I gotta look at this. Okay, so yeah, you know, there were some people who were aware for a couple of years, okay, and then along came me, and then, you know, there are other people that came after me. The advice show saga was really ridiculous, you know, going through all these changes, accusing the man of everything that I just freshly caught and proven he had done. He turned around and yelled, screamed, and said, "Advice show was doing all that shit that I just caught." I mean, mid hand in the cookie jar. I was like, Turtleface in your cookie jar. And he was like, "My show's been taking your cookies." So crazy. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I know. I kind of lost my train of thought. I know that I'm doing this like weird trainy sentence. I'm kind of distracted, you know. That was part of the thing last night too. Like I wasn't really focused too much on the conversation because I'm doing a sort of droning talking thing, you know, run-on sentence. I rather do that kind of thing myself, you know. Yeah, one of the complaints that the screamy dude had last night was, you know, why can't you shut the fuck up? You know, and I'm like, because I don't got, you know, like in the course of a conversation, anyone can talk at any time. The fact that I can listen to you speak and speak over you at the same time frustrates you because you like a nice, clean platform for your monologues. Got it. Okay. I understand. And, you know, what do you want? You want a fucking Twinkie? I'm not about to act like that's a crime. What I'm going to do is take my distracted ass somewhere else before I focus too much on responding to your overreaction to a difference of opinion over your choice of use of a colloquialism that I find to be ridiculous for a man of your age and stature to use so easily in a conversation with a woman such as myself about a creature such as ya boy, not mine, the turtle face. Ya boy whom you call, ya boy who you think has a show, your boy who you ain't got no problem with, even though he has harassed friends of yours that you call your sweethearts. All right. So I guess you have you have a little bit more respect for them than you have for me. There are all kinds of people who get along with all kinds of people who have all kinds of sympathy for all kinds of bullshit. But I can't abide by the, wham, mommy didn't hug me enough but for so long. Wham, I pick all the wrong bitches because I ain't never had no examples of what the right bitch is to have around me. Wham, bad woman experiences. I've had negative male experiences. They were based on my choices to be around males who were behaving negatively. Duh, that's what happens. You go for a ride with a bad boy or bad girl, you get fucking, a few bruises, you get your ass bruised, you get road rash. And, that's what you get for choosing to go on that ride. So I hope you enjoy it. Hope you fucking like it. Funny thing is, I'm about to go and do a scene talking about a bad boy ride, for my friend project on Monday. We'll see how that turns out. You'll all see how it turns out, because I'm on the troll list for this sector. This is a sector of a few people who really think that they count for a whole lot more than they do. So let's see. I'm checking the clock. I got a few more minutes. So let me just conclude this by saying this. Okay. Yeah, left off on the Hangout when I'm repeating myself, and I know this, and I know that I have to do this because people will dip in and dip out at different times, and also I'm dealing with people who have trouble listening to things the first time you say them because they're too busy trying to project their thoughts and feelings into and onto your words and sentiments. So I will make this clear again. From my own perspective and my own mouth, coming from my own experience, regardless of anyone's approval or agreement. Okay. This sector, that calls itself this sector, the black sector, which consists of a few dozen people who are black people who use YouTube, who would like to separate themselves from white people, white people specifically. They don't talk about Hispanic people much. They don't talk about Asian people much, but white people, glow like fucking kryptonite. And they are extremely distrustful, of white people, given the history of these United States. If you're going to have a reason to distrust white people, the reason, the history of this country is a good one, right? So, speaking of this particular group of folk and the thought processes and the conversations that exist herein in this sector, all right? A lot of those have to do with the subject matter that Turtle Fluff introduces into the sector. A lot of people within this sector speak on what he speaks on because he spoke on it, as if what he has to say is important or pertinent. Because there is a belief amongst many in this sector that this dude is something that he swears he is, but that he actually is not. So this sector is, it reeks of the guy. To say that he's not part of it when it reeks of him is just uber, super duper ridiculous to me. And I have every right to those thoughts, just like people have every right to think that, what I do with my hair is ridiculous. The way I wear my clothing, people that I hang out with, the things that I do, places that I go, things that I say. You have every right to find those things ridiculous and to ridicule those things. here's what you are not going to do. You are not going to stop me from doing the same thing when it comes to you. Not with any yelling or screaming or cussing or whining or throwing things or tantruming like a fucking child. All I'm going to do is observe your tantrum, wait for your tantrum to be over, and go on about my business stepping around you as you sit in a pool of snot and piss. All right? So, I'm going to go, go over to aisle 7, maybe purchase a little, broom and a fucking sponge and some Lysol for your mama to help you clean up that mess. Maybe help her deal with it, since she obviously is not, cut out for the job of raising little humans. Everybody who has a child to come out of them is not necessarily cut out, for the whole parenting gig. Like that's an unfortunate thing. I mean, that's not a crime unless you're abusing a child. But yeah, you got a lot of half-assery going on, some half-race folk. Well, once people get together, the numbers multiply, the problem seems multiplied, but it really is just, it's an identifiable thing. You can see things for what they are. Everything is as difficult as you make it. There is a source and there is a solution, because there has to be, because the problem's there. See, do you know that problems and solutions create themselves simultaneously? Kind of like laws and criminals. Okay, so thank you very much. And I will be back at this again, because I still have to review these Ask the Real the Nun videos that were made about me that I still have not watched. I haven't watched them. I stopped at the point where it was obvious that he was responding to some things that I actually did not say. That's just silly. But, I'll go ahead and watch it. I'm game. I'm going to watch these couple of videos of his. I think everybody else I'm caught up with responses. And when I am done with these responses, you lucky dogs are not going to have to hear from me. Most of you. All of you. Except one.